I suppose that a good place to begin would be how your relationship with Rick developed over the years, if you feel so inclined. Rick
Well,
Linklater.
Richard Linklater, in 1991, right, made a film called Slacker, which became, along with Nirvana, right, and along with Doug Copeland's Generation X, and along with a bunch of other artwork, started to define what my generation had to say.
Yeah.
That was different than the baby boomers, that was different. I mean, and there's new generations coming, and what are they going to say, and all that. But I remember going to the Angelica because a bunch of us said, you have to see Slacker. And sitting there and watching, it was interesting because I was born in Austin. And so it was really interesting for me to see this movie, this Austin filmmaker, a guy I hadn't ever met.
And this is around the time that you're starting as an actor, too.
Absolutely. Dead
Yeah.
Poets Society
Dead
came
Poets
out
Society
3
is
years before
89?
89,
Yep.
right? And I mean, I don't really know. I remember vividly walking home from the movie because, funnily enough, the people I was with didn't like it. You know how that happens sometimes, and I no longer like them. You know, and so
They're not here tonight, right?
They're not here tonight. No, none of them are here tonight. Funny how that works.
Yeah,
isn't
well,
it? And so I remember walking down Mercer Street and thinking, what the hell was that movie about? And why did it feel so? It felt like a new voice. You know, and it felt, for somebody who had been a student of the arts, you understand, you know, you have writing teachers and you listen to music and you understand this idea of voice and you have teachers who try to tell you what it means. But there's something, for those of you who remember, it's a thing, the most memorable moment is not the best moment in the movie, but the moment that that young woman comes up and says she has Madonna's pap smear, you know? And I remember like just kind of stewing about why one would include such a moment in a movie. I wasn't even positive I liked it, you know, but I knew that it was incredibly interesting. And when you talk about continuity, and I think, and I see Seymour over there, and I think about my friendship with Rick, because, you know, Michael Amareda is here tonight, who directed me in Hamlet, and there's more than one. Continuity isn't just Rick and I. Continuity is.
You've made 2 films with Michael now.
Yeah, but it's not just Michael and I either.
Yeah.
It's all of us.
Yes.
You know, the more
Yes.
it's you. You know, I mean, it's the New York Film Festival. It's the people here. It's what do we care about? What do we think is interesting? What do we want to write about? What do we want to watch movies about? I mean, I made this movie about Seymour, and that's not disconnected from Rick.
Yeah.
Because Rick made a documentary called Inning by Inning about
Yes.
the baseball coach of a Texas baseball team that is kind of a Zen baseball, inning by inning, breath by breath, moment by moment. And the idea about baseball, that people think it's really boring, but the interesting thing about baseball is, of course, that on any pitch, the whole dynamic of the change can change,
Yeah.
but it probably won't. What will probably happen is exactly what you think will happen,
Right.
but it might
But
not.
it might not.
And on that principle, the whole thing thrives. And I remember watching, and we've been having this tremendous success with our documentary, but Rick couldn't find a home for his documentary.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
That's right.
it's a fascinating thing about what we do,
Yeah.
making movies, telling stories, and seeing that documentary. And then I shortly after met Seymour, and I thought, oh, what Seymour's doing with the piano is exactly what this baseball coach was doing, and everything is connected, is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Is that it's bigger than that. I remember, Michael, what was it? It was, I remember Rick and I came to meet.
He actually
He had to
to
leave
go.
for his screening, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's not here. I'm talking about him. I was just being nice. No.
But at least
anyway,
you still talk to him. 'Cause
yeah, I
he
can
may-
talk to him.
yeah,
But
yeah.
no, the point is, we were at the Sundance Film Festival once, and he was doing a documentary about
At Sundance.
Yeah, about film and everything. And Michael was one of the first people that was truly hip that Rick was serious.
Yes.
And he wanted Rick to be in his documentary about this thing he was making about film, of which I don't remember much. But that, and You know, I'm using it as an example to say about how much we're all in this together, you know, and that the one thing that's most interesting to me about being 44 is how much you start to see that. You start to see yourself as part of a wave that is bigger than you. I mean, I think the reason why people have been enjoying our documentary, Seymour, is because, and I said this to Josh from AMC, who's here tonight, who's really, if you like the movie Boyhood, the reason why the movie exists is because these people at IFC and AMC. Yeah. I mean, people talk about how did you make a movie over 12 years, blah, 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 you know, oh, it's amazing. The biggest miracle of that movie is that somebody believed in the idea enough to not recoup on their investment. Yes. In a world where everything is about money and what's happening next year, these guys who are here tonight said, you know what, I'll take a break from that line of thinking for a minute, and I'll give Richard Linklater a chance. And Richard Linklater wasn't making anybody a ton of money. It's not like he's taking a chance on Steven Spielberg or something, you know? And so I'm really indebted to you guys, and I wouldn't be here tonight if you guys didn't greenlight that movie, you know? And so the older I get, the more I realize that I don't know where any idea comes from, you know? And a thing like continuity is the most interesting thing in the world to me because it's generational, or is it? I mean, there's Seymour is, and Seymour's affecting me. And you know, how old were you when I was born? 15. How old were you in 1970? In 1970? Yeah.
How many years ago was that? That would be 44 years ago. You're 8. Yes.
So you were 43.
He was 43. 43.
So right.
It's astonishing that you're 87,
Seymour.
Seymour.
Well, part of the reason why I made this documentary, right, is because it's a strange thing for me that the Before trilogy finished this year, really, 13 months ago. The Before trilogy, Before Midnight.
Yes, but maybe there'll be another one in 11 years.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah. But it was interesting to finish Before Midnight at Sundance last year.
Yes.
Which was this, which felt to me, yes, there may be another, but Ryan would tell you that my wife, that after Before Sunset,
yes,
I was obsessed with Before Midnight. It was like an itch you couldn't scratch. It felt like a job undone. There's a Zen cone to the end of Before Sunset, the second film.
Yes.
Am I just drifting all over the place?
No, not at all.
Okay. Well,
not at all.
At the end of Before Sunset, there's this kind of Zen cone of a thing where, like, she just says, "You're gonna miss that plane," and I say, "I know."
In the voice of Nina Simone.
Yeah. And for me personally, it was a very volatile moment in my life where I wasn't sure where I was going to land. And this idea of making a third film was very important to me. And I'm not sure about a fourth. It's possible, but the third film, you know, if the second film was a call, the third film was an answer.
Yes, right.
And I feel that if there were a fourth film, it would be starting a second trilogy, or it would be some new call and response. It's some, but to have that end at the same time, we started Boyhood before we started Before Sunset.
Well, Boyhood started in 2001.
Right, and Boyhood started in 2001, and we finished Before Sunset in 2000.
2003 or 4.
Oh yeah, right, 2003. So it was after. Boyhood was before, and then, and so Sunset and Midnight both finished during the production of it, and so to have them both end within these last 14 months has felt like a huge, you know, what's like a snake shedding a skin or something. Seymour and I have been working on this documentary for a few years. It finished this year. I did Macbeth across the street last year, which is kind of a accumulation of a decade-long rededication to the theater. And so for some reason, I feel incredibly naked here tonight in that this moment it's a finishing moment for me. you know, and I don't really know. So words like continuity are really interesting to me. That was a long answer.